I'm going to do some short videos. When I very first started, I tried to do more of it in little segments so that people weren't sitting there listening to me for a long time. But the people who I've been having, it seemed like some of them like to just, sit and drink their coffee and have somebody to listen to or, interact with while they were joining us for having our coffee together. So anyways, I'm going to do some short ones that are kind of get more to the point, especially because for newer people that are going to keep coming who are trying to, I don't understand where I'm coming from or what my deal is. So I'm going to do a bunch of short ones, but I'm going to still do the long ones too. The long ones will just be more of, me talking more broader about everything and, getting more into my rambly. That's my technique. So, anyways, a little bit about me real quick is I got a brain injury. I was a nurse. I was troubled teen. I had a lot of problems. I was born into a family with a lot of distress and abusive technique or, style. So I, had a lot of problems. People turn it either in or they turn it out. People either get angry and turn it out or they turn very self-destructive. I was one of the self-destructive ones. So I was just super self-destructive, but I've always had spiritual guidance. I know, they always had me on mission since the beginning. They were all that stuff that I was going through was to show me and teach me things. So I, went through a lot, and no matter how many times like you'd think I would have been killed or something, it's like, nope, this is what you're gonna do. So I've had a lot of really weird experiences that have seemed supernatural to some people, but I think that I was just born in like we all have a veil, but I think like mine was a little bit thinner or something. I'm not really sure. But, I went through life struggling and trying to figure myself out. I went through all of that angry and, younger years where everything is your parents' fault. And, you could have been a better person if you just had better parents. And then, you find yourself just trying to survive in the world, in bad relationships and all sorts of complications and, so you're just trying to survive and, you just join the rat race and you do what everybody wants you to do and you start becoming somebody you're not. And, I went through all of that. I was a big part of it. I was in there with the rest of everybody, like, I'm doing this. And then, I went into I was a total workaholic. My dad was an alcohol. If we're going with labels, we'll just go with labels for now. But this is something we're trying to break free from is labels. But he was a major alcoholic and a workaholic. He had so many other issues. He was he was definitely a downward spiral through life. I think he was a catalyst. I think he was here to, show a lot of people some stuff. So he, when I was a nurse, I was a workaholic. I wasn't an alcoholic because, I saw all of that through different experience. Not to say I didn't go through periods of time where I drank myself into a coma. I definitely did that. I took every drug known to mankind. I'd mix anything. It didn't matter. I would take anything. I just didn't care about myself. And, I had myself in trouble all the time. So I learned a lot from all of that. Then, and then getting the rat race and, just doing everything. I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I had a plan. I thought I was doing it all. And, go in the hospital, get a surgery real quick. Yeah, get the quick one. And then when I got in there, I didn't know until later when my lawyer found out more stuff that the anesthesiologist was a criminal and he was doing Medicare fraud and stuff because his I think he was mentally ill son had burned down up in the rich area where they lived. He had burned down some houses. So he was doing insurance fraud. So he was already not even, mentally, he shouldn't have been doing anything with the patients. He was already too stressed out. He's making bad choices. So he they were trying to do insurance fraud on me and double up the anesthesia. And then they just, doing the spinal, they just kept poking and poking. But I have bad scoliosis. And, well, I mean, it's all relevant. It's bad to me, but it's the worst I know. So, they could never get the spinal in because my spine is so curved. So they just kept poking holes. And when you poke holes, it's a closed system. And it's a pressurized system. So when all the fluid goes out that's cushioning your brain and running through your spine to keep everything going and stuff, when it runs out, since it's pressurized, it starts sucking, pulling things. And that's how you herniate your brain. It starts pulling your brain down inside the spinal cord and kills you. I didn't die. My mom took an abortion pill. I didn't die. I'm telling you. I have a purpose here. There's a reason I'm here. And so when that happened, I'm not really sure if they were just trying to cover stuff up, if they just really didn't understand that I had all these leaks. Because by the time I left recovery, I didn't have any fluid already. When I got up to the room, I started saying that something was wrong and telling them, because I was having so much pain right here. I thought that they maybe had pulled my arm weird during surgery or something. So I started asking for a doctor. 3 days later, I got one. And I was in so much, I never felt like I had all my kids natural except for the C-section. And I thought that was the worst pain I'd ever been in until I had my brain start having your brain get sucked out of your fucking head. And it's fucking the worst pain I've ever had in my life. Yeah, I mean, it makes me almost start to cry again just to remember back to that. It was fucking horrible. And all those different nurses came in. Nobody was my advocate. Nobody was doing anything. I was begging for somebody to come help me. I was begging for a doctor. My family was all around me. And I was in such pain. Oh my God. I couldn't even talk. I was just like, oh, it was horrible. Finally, 3 days later, they come in and then started doing tests. They couldn't even believe the tests. So then they made me wait longer so that they can confirm things. So 2 days later is when they found out. And then they started, oh shit. I worked on the neuro floor. I know what happens with a leak. People are rushed to the ICU. People die from it. So I don't even, I just don't even know. I had 6 or 7 holes in my back. That fluid was out fast. My brain was already, I saw the x-rays. It was already flattening. It was super flat. That's how they could see. So anyways, those things, whatever they did, they killed parts, messed up parts. So that led me to losing my license, having to, have a brain injury. Changed my whole life. It changed everything. And it made me start seeing life in a new way. And I had to, heal myself. I had to, and nobody was going to admit anything. There's a big boys club that works at the hospital and you're not in it. And they're going to cover their asses. They don't give a shit about you. So there was nobody helping me or anything. And I had to figure it all out by myself. And I had to figure out how to survive. And then I lost my license, and then I lost everything, and I was making bad decisions. I was just having a super hard time. And so, it taught me a lot, and that just bumpered right up to, 2020 and all of this stuff going down. And so I started putting everything together, and I started really making sense about what's going on in the world. So that's what I talk about. But that's just kind of a little bit of a background of, what happened to my head.